G'day everybody, it has been a minute, but I am back with a brand new review. As you can see from the title down below, I am going to be talking about British, independent, sort of gangster movie, The Last Heist. All I ever really ask when I meet a director or when I get involved with a director and I find their project is that we do some leveling up. Keep getting better, keep growing, learn from your mistakes, learn from the things you did right, but most of all, keep getting better. Boy howdy, that's what's happened here, but we are going to get into that in a little bit. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, the notification bell. It helps the algorithm, lets us get seen, all that good stuff. I've been doing things behind the scenes, which is why I've kind of not really put out a video for a little while. I've been meaning to review this for ages. Now I'm finally getting to do it, so there you go. But yeah, the Twitch channel is going to be kicking off very soon. Nerdly UK over on the Twitch. I'm going to be streaming games. I'm going to be doing live reactions to TV shows, to wrestling products, to all sorts. We're going to be putting a whole dose of content out there. One of the things I am doing is at the end of February, I am going to be at Romford Horror Festival, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to be going live from the festival on the Twitch channel, the Facebooks and everything like that. So keep an eye out for that.
See, in my line of work, you have to have a code. Rules.
One last job. Rodents don't live very long around us.
Left hand or right hand?
It's part of the game, mate.
We're only as good as your word.
You get back to your girls, yeah?
And as you all know, I like to do this in a very simple format, and it's not going to change anytime soon because I feel it works for me, helps me get into my groove, and we all know what's coming. So I'm going to talk about the plot of this movie with as few spoilers as possible, but then I will move into the cast and the crew, who people played, who they were, and how they were. We'll talk about that a lot. And then I will get into my what I did and what I didn't like about this movie. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, as it always is. Because yes, you can shine a light on the positives, but you have to give a little bit of credence to the negatives. So we'll be doing a bit of that. And then I will hit you with my Nerdly Out Loud, not the official Nerdly rating from the website. You know, I didn't even do my intro. Yeah. We like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget. We are Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk. Yes, there you go. So that's all that done. But yeah, then I'll get into my final overall rating of the movie The Last Heist, a movie that I was quite excited to see because director Cos Greenup. He's a director that we hooked up with really early. I hooked up with him really early. His movie was called Wandering Rose or Demon Baby or whatever it was called elsewhere. And then I believe it was Dark Beacon that he had after that, but people just kind of called it Lesbians and Lighthouse, which was cool. Then he made House Red with Tamer Hassan and everything like that. But now he's come out with The Last Heist. And like I say, when you want to talk about directors, actors, creators, leveling up, Cos has done a little bit of that here. Happy to see it. Let's get into this movie. As I mentioned in my intro, it is a British gangster movie, so we're going to follow some of those British gangster tropes. But this movie is about four guys who decide to go and rob a bank. They intend for this to be their last job, so it's a big enough score that they could potentially retire and go their own way. But what we're doing at the start of the movie is we're going to talk a little bit about what the heist is going to be. Then the heist is going to happen. We're not going to see it right now. And then we're going to jump ahead about a year later. They come to a local pub, which has significance, and we'll talk about that in the characters. It has a little bit of significance to them, but really they're just here to kind of dissect the robbery a little bit, dissect their relationships a little bit, because, you know, when you rob a bank together and you're all a bunch of, you know, dodgy geezers, it's all going to go a little bit pitong somehow, and that is the essence of this movie. They're backtracking onto the heist. They're figuring out what happened, who did what, why they did what they did, and it's going to test the friendship and the loyalty and the brotherhood that these guys have made throughout the movie. Don't really want to say anything else about the plot because that's the basic nuts and bolts. And that's all you need to know going in. So let's talk about the cast. And I'm going to start off with kind of what sets up the movie as a bit of a crux for the movie. This is what you're going to be leaning on for most of the movie, and that is the father and son relationship of Mick and Slips. Mick, played by Perry Benson, I love me some Perry Benson, just getting to see him in the movie Accident Man 2. He turned up. It's great to see him in this movie as well. And his son Slips, played by Michael Head, who's also the writer of this movie, which is great because he gets some good little dialogue, gets some good stuff. But the main thing that I love about these two actors is that their chemistry. Perry Benson is playing his father, and you really get this vibe that these guys could be father and son. Look at this. I'll get totally flamed in the comments because they probably are father and son somehow. I don't know. But we all love a bit of Perry Benson, and we know he can play that role very well. And Michael Head is kind of, I will say for me, out of the 4 core cast members we're going to be spending our time with, I do think Michael Head is a little bit weaker than the other 3. Kind of feel like as an actor, Michael Head was maybe holding back a little bit to make sure that the right thing was getting said and done at the right time. But of course we do have another 3 members, our main core cast members, the Bank Robbers, led by Waldorf, who is played by Terry Stone. If you've seen Terry Stone in movies, you know what you're getting with Terry Stone. I'm really into what Terry Stone's trying to do right now, and he plays a really good role here. He's sort of the heavy hitter of the group, the guy who is going to bring all this gravitas because it's the guy we know. We also have relative newcomer Sam Gittins plays Prozac, and what I will say is I've gushed about Sam Gittins in the last couple of years about the movies he's been in, and for me he is one of, if not the, but he is one of the best characters in this movie. I love the character of Prozac because while we're not really getting a massive backstory to these characters, he is so led in his performance, and Sam Gittins hits every mark for me. Just kind of made me feel like I did kind of know this guy. You know, he's a little bit depressed, he's a little bit paranoid, he's a little bit obsessive. Like, I felt like I knew Prozac, and that's why when you find out what he does, it's totally relatable. You totally get that. But the other flip side to this coin, because he is also kind of the comedy relief, and the flip side to that coin is that you've got Daniel O'Reilly, Dapper Laughs himself. I rate him as an actor. I prefer his comedy side to his more serious side. And in this movie, he does have a bit of the serious, but the relationship between Gittins and O'Reilly is brilliant. Like, they banter back and forth. And yeah, you can then, when you have these two guys logging heads and joking on and everything like that, you can then have those moments where Terry Stone's like, look, I don't quite buy what you're here for. I don't quite buy you at all. What's going on here? Also in the bar, we have the barmaid, played by Emily Wyatt, who plays Dina. I really, really do like Emily Wyatt in this movie towards the end of it. She doesn't get a massive great deal to do throughout. She keeps popping up here and there. But towards the end of this movie, she gets a good chunk of dialogue, and you just rate the character and you rate this actress. She's brilliant when she gets to shine. Doesn't happen till closer to the end, but when she does get to shine, she's great. We also have Rachel Warren, who you will know from the movies Tribal, Get Out, one of the Foot Soldier movies. And I'm not going to dive too deeply anymore into the cast and the characters, apart from Josh Myers turns up. Remember Josh Myers? He turns up, a little bit beefier than I remember, but he turns up. He's in there. He plays a good little role. I really quite liked him. Would have liked to have seen a bit more of him. But I'm going to go into what I did and what I didn't like. And the main thing before I get into other things is Cos Greenup. This feels like a big level up. Like, as a director, for me, this feels like a really nice, solid leveling up. The story is solid. Is it the most perfect story I've ever seen? No, not really. Does it have the most perfect dialogue I've ever seen? No, not really. But everyone is delivering their dialogue and delivering it with conviction to the point where I kind of believe what's going on and I am totally in. Then when you get a sort of twist towards the end of the movie, I'm buying it. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it, and I like it. But that's what I mean. He's got a solid script here. He's obviously got a good cinematographer on board because it looks pretty smart for a low-budget independent film. It looks really nice. You wouldn't be able to put it down for that, so that's another plus. Sounds great. Some nice score to it. Some nice eerie score at times that, you know, sort of sets an undertone to the film. I can't really say he's done anything wrong. I'll be completely honest with you, because that's what I'm here to be. That's what I am. That's what I like to do. I like Demon Baby, but it had its flaws, and this was a director who just started out. I like Dark Beacon, but it had its flaws, and this was a director making his second movie. I rated House Red. It looked fantastic. The only place that House Red fell down for me was the actors. I liked the story. The story was pretty good, but the actors let it down. Now here we are. Cos Greenup has made The Last Heist with a group of great actors that I like to see in British movies, and it all worked. It all totally worked. Is it a tad too long? You could probably lose 10 minutes somewhere. That's the only negative I can really come up with. I could maybe lose 10 minutes and just get to that ending. Because the ending, when you get it, holy crap, it threw me for 6. I did not expect this. It's brilliant. No spoilers. So I guess that's kind of what I did and didn't like. I just answered the whole thing in a one thing. But I do like the actors. Sam Gittins in there. I'll always rate Sam Gittins until he makes a bad movie. But the thing is, Sam Gittins has made some, not great movies, but he's been great in them, if you know what I mean. So I'm okay with that. I love me some Sam Gittins. Daniel O'Reilly, I really want to see you keep plugging away at this and getting bigger and better and bigger. I think you've got what it takes. When you hit the drama, you do actually hit it well, but I kind of just preferred the comedy side of this one, like the banter between you and Gittins, but then there is a bit later on that you rip my heart out and you stamp on it because you're a horrible bastard. And by that, I mean you tug on the feels. I'll tell you what, I am just going to go into my final thoughts on the movie. And truthfully with that, I don't have a great deal bad. And that's what I like to see. I don't look at these movies that are slightly lower budget and put them up against, Ocean's 11. I'm not going to put it up there beside that. That's not how I do these things. I rate the movies on their merits. I rate these movies on what they had to work with. I rate these movies on those kinds of things. And this is a British low-budget gangster flick with a spin. And the spin is what hooks you. Obviously, you don't get that till near the end. And it is hinted at a couple of times, so watch out for those. And it's what separates it from other movies of this ilk. And I think that's what's going to make it stand out when people start really seeing it. Now, my problem with that is the poster, the video box, the everything like that makes it look like the kind of movie that you think you're going into. Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? But there's something else going on. So I'm just going to give you my final rating. And remember, people, this rating is not the rating of Nerdly as a whole. It is the rating of Nerdly Out Loud, because I am the most important person on that website, on this channel. And personally, I'm going to drop a straight 4 on this movie. It's a strong 4. It is a very strong 4. Like I say, though, it feels a little bit too long at points. Like, we could have maybe chopped some stuff out somewhere. I love the performance between Perry Benson and Michael Head. They both work really well together as a father and son duo. Michael Head and Terry Stone. Terry Stone becoming like the surrogate father. Like, I really like that performance. Daniel O'Reilly and Sam Gittins work really well together. So it's, and the 4 of them around the table who we spend most of the movie with, it works. It totally works. So for me, it's a 4. It's a definite 4 out of 5. I really think you should check out The Last Heist. I think you'll enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please hit me in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Even if you didn't like it, tell me and I'll tell you how wrong you are and for why you're wrong. So there is that as well. But for now, I'm going to go The Last Heist. Cos, thank you so much. You've done a great job with this movie. And it's always good to see a director that I'm following, that I admire, take that next step up. And it feels like The Last Heist, although in certain ways it might feel like a step back for yourself, and I totally understand that, it's a big step forward. So let's see what Cos does next. Let's see where we're going. Let's see what we're doing. But for now, it's a 4 out of 5. Hit that like, hit that subscribe thing, that notification bell. This is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for news, reviews and exclusive interviews. I like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. And right now, The Last Heist, 4 out of 5.